Master Green on the beat.
What's going on, everyone? It's LWin, and I'm welcoming you to another episode of the Winlife podcast. Today, we have another very special guest with us, close friend of mine, colleague, former student, and more like I learned from them now. So today, we welcome Jonah Greene to the show. Welcome, brother.
What's going on, man?
Oh, just chilling in there, hanging in there. Another blessed day, another great day to be alive and speak to the world. It's beautiful to have this platform. So I wanted to share it with you today. Just bring some positivity to the world, bring some positive light to the world, and help people better their day, get through that day a little bit more easy, a bit more smoothly. So I thought, why not bring a close friend who, I think we're a dope collab, regardless of the medium, whether it's music, trading, or podcast. So thanks again, bro.
Right, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
So yeah, I do have kind of like a bunch of stuff I want to pick your brain on today, as well as give you the floor to kind of talk about things that are dear to you, that are important to you, and that you feel people should know about, and that may spark that change in their life. But first, I definitely want to give you your proper introduction. So,
Absolutely, man.
yes, sir. So,
Yes, sir.
Jonah Greene is a recording artist, entrepreneur, and day trader. He is from Charlotte, North Carolina. Jonah has developed his own trading strategy and system he now teaches to his own students. He has also started the Freedom Legacy podcast, where he is able to spread his message of faith and love. The Winlife podcast welcomes Jonah Greene to the show.
Yes.
So perfect. Did I get that right? You're from Charlotte, right?
That's right. From Charlotte,
Okay.
North Carolina. I mean, I was born in upstate New York, but I lived most of my life in Charlotte.
Okay. How you like
Yeah.
it there? You think you're gonna stay there or
I
move
mean,
to a coast or
honestly,
something?
it's man, bro. It's it's one of those things, like, I don't know, because I'm the type of guy that just loves to venture out. And when you move from your homeland, there's just a lot of things out there that you can explore, bro. So moving is definitely in my books, but I mean, wherever God, tells me to go, I'll just go, I mean, I've had a lot of, like, I think in the past, especially when it was coming to music, I had Atlanta, I had, Nashville, I had Cali. I mean, I had all sorts of things in mind. But, when you're young and, chasing your careers, it's just one of those things where, that idea kind of pops up in the picture and you're like, oh, man, I could see myself there. In reality, I'm just a traveler, so I might be one of those guys if I get to a place where I'm like full time, financially free, shoot, I might buy a house somewhere and just be a traveler. So
You
I
mean
may
when
not
you get
have
to that point, you're well on
Exactly.
track. I've seen your
Right.
Forex trades. I know you. So that's kind of the plan. Just
Uh-huh.
be more nomadic in a way. But
Right.
I mean, I know you have those roots in North Carolina, in Charlotte, where you do a lot of work in the community, and it seems like you have a really solid foundation and like a really big network of people out there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to kind of just speak to that, like what it's like, and kind of just tell me how it's like to have that support system and everything you're coming from, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, for so long, I've had a support system that's really been able to, like, support me in every area of my life. I mean, whether it comes to my spiritual life, my work life, even investing, including yourself. I mean, it's just right where I am. I've realized I just jumped back to the community of, like, how far I've come based off of the support system that I have. Um, I mean, my church, my family, including my friends, man. It would be, I'm telling you what, man, if anything was to happen to me, I know that I'll be taken care of. I mean, I'm just so blessed to even be able to get to a place where I am right now, due to the simple fact that I have so many people behind what I do. That's regarding my podcast, music, um, I mean ministry, and things of that nature. So yeah, man, it's been a good ride, and it's a blessing, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, one thing I want to say when I ask you is, what do you do? And that's what we're gonna talk about because,
Uh huh.
like myself, like a lot of other people that come on the show, we do so much, and we're into getting our. We figured out that we have to have a money system. We have to have a money maker. And a lot of us are creative. I'm an artist. You're an artist. We had the entrepreneur Lewis, who he's part of Forex here. He been producing. He in the church. He been doing it for over 15 years. But he had to get to his bag one way, and we know that
Right.
the music itself is if we solely put making money on that music aspect, it can come with losing a lot. You have to give so much, stuff that we're not willing to compromise. Leverage, money, points, your soul, things like that.
People,
So,
yeah, people don't
um,
understand the hustle, man.
right, right.
So much you got to put into it.
But I was gonna say, I was asking like, where would you live? Atlanta, New
Yeah.
York, woo woo. But truth be told, with how things are with the internet, do we really even need to move to, a music capital per se when everything is done online right now? Like, we've never met in person. It would be dope if we do get to do a video for our song. But
Right.
think about how we put out a product. We're able to market it. We did so much, and we're across the country. So yeah, just
Right.
kind of throwing that out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's just one of those things where, I had like, especially being a musician, man, I had to figure out like, you know, what other assets I can use to contribute to my music because, man, yourself, man, it takes money. It takes a lot of work. Like a lot of people think, as a musicians, we're just making songs and just throwing them out there, but they don't understand what goes behind it, like all the money that has to be dumped in it, and all these
Right.
promoters that we're connecting with. And so, like, when I got into the investing business, and of course, I heard about you guys in Forexia, I've realized investing was the way to go. I mean, I had a friend, which I won't speak about her name, but she's my ex and a very great friend of mine who's actually inspired me to get more into the investing business, and I started tackling that hard. And I just realized when I saw that, I was like, oh, Forex can really be one of those assets that can really get me to where I really want to be.
Definitely a
Yeah.
thousand percent. I
Yes. And it's like
be
a dream come true, bro.
it is. If you don't mind
Yeah.
hard work, if you look up to people like, the Kobe Bryants, the Tom Brady's or whatever, just people who put in
Hmm.
that work and you about that life, like this is it because you get what you put
Right.
in and you always accountable. Like today
Right.
is that day. You're sick and off today. I'm sick. I'm off. And we were like, you want to just reschedule this? I said,
Right.
sounds good. I said, hold up. I'm gonna feel guilty. Let's get this work in, whatever it is. So,
Right.
I mean, with that in hand, with these systems that we've learned in trading, that's really
Hmm.
propelling us because there is a magic to it with how we learn how to do our leverage trading with our risk management and
Right.
all that, which I'm sure we'll
Hmm.
dive into a bit. So.
Correct. Yeah.
But just to kind of touch on your music because I personally think you are a super dope, amazing artist, and
Mm.
one of my like gauges for artists is like that point where I don't want to say I'm jealous or envious or I'm like, why can't I do that or I want to do that, right? So when I started,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he's a dope rapper. But he get on the track with me, I'm gonna keep up. Like I got my bars. What's up? Like we can go. But then you
Right.
you had a song. I can't think of it. It's the video with all the colors in the background. It's like and
Oh.
you're singing. You sing the whole song, and I'm like, oh my, like this
Oh, is
man
that
got
Give My Love?
give my love. Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, so yeah, Drake, what's up? Like,
Versatile, bro.
so I did want to ask before I go off on another tangent,
Right.
where do you get your music ability from? Like, is it from
Yeah.
the church or your fam or just all you? What's up?
Yeah, very quite opposite when it comes to the church, man, and very, I know a lot of people are probably like surprised by that, but I grew up a part of hip hop like Tupac, Lauryn Hill, Lil Wayne, DMX,
Right.
all these people inspired me to be who I am today. And like I even heard a lot of R&B people like Chris Brown, Usher, especially Usher. Like Usher was like that. He was just one of those guys where I'm like, man, like I can be very creative in both of my sounds, and got to the point to where I saw my brother doing it, and he started rapping a lot, and I like that. He kind of inspired me to get more into music. And then I saw my mom and my dad. They're like, my dad is like from Trinidad, Tobago, so he's like hardcore reggae. And my mother, she's a mix of hip hop and reggae. So it's like I just had this like joyful soul of hip hop in me, and I felt like I can do the same thing. So I started rapping in the clubs. I was doing my own thing, and then that's when I was introduced to the Lord, and I began to change my life. I gave my life to Jesus, and then I've heard of this guy called Lecrae, and he's a Christian rapper. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing his stuff. I was like, man, what in the world? I've never heard Christian rap like this.
Really? It
And
was Lecrae?
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Lecrae was the main game changer for my life, bro. Like I was like, I've never heard a story like this ever besides Kirk Franklin. I grew up on Kirk Franklin too. But I was like, man, this dude was hitting hard, bro. And I'm like, maybe I said I can do this. So I started remixing Lil Wayne's music, started doing it in the church, and people was like,
so did you
"Dang,
grow
bro."
up in the church though?
I grew up in the church, but I dropped out of the church.
Okay.
I dropped out of the church like around age 16, and that's when I just started like really partying and like just girl chasing, money chasing, just doing all that stuff, just getting to that like particular like lifestyle that just wasn't really healthy for me. So
For
I
none
think I
of
got
us.
back. Yeah, none of us, man. I got back into the church when my brother kind of like he started changing his ways, and I was like, oh, what church you go to? And I bought it myself actually, and I went with him. And I think around like 18 years of age, that's when I started getting my life right again, and I was like, okay, like I'm not a Christian, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
Right.
as regards to music, man, like definitely like my hip hop roots definitely goes all the way back to when I was like 6 years old, just listening to all sorts of like even Fugees. Fugees was big at the time. And what I'm talking about when it comes to Fugees,
Yeah.
with Tupac, Biggie, all them people. So I just like kind of like got in a way to where I'm like I'm writing my music, but I'm like, how can I be better? Like my mindset was like I want to be better than Wayne. I want to be better than all these, but I didn't realize like, well, it's not about you being better. It's about being the best you can be as an artist, so you can actually stand out differently than they are.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to go for them because it helps you develop the skill set, but then you get to that point where it's not just about your skills, it's about stepping into
Yeah.
your artistry, stepping into your voice and learning,
Right.
who is Jonah, who is LWin, what is my mission for my music, all of that stuff. But you can be the dopest battle rapper with the dopest bars and blah blah blah, but
Yeah.
that will only take you so far. And to me, that's not going to impact the world. It's a great display, but and that's my next question. I wanted to ask what I kind of know the answer just by knowing you, but I want to hear it from you. What is your mission with your music? Like, why do you do this? I know you love hip hop, but do you have a specific mission or objective you want to accomplish with it? Not just like success wise, but
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, man, I just want to further God's kingdom, number one, and give glory to God. I really want to see lives that have been broken changed, and I also want to be successful in the part to where I want to come from a raw and authentic place, and I want people to know, like, hey, man, just because you messed up doesn't mean like there's no hope for you, doesn't mean there's
Right.
no purpose for you. I really want to inspire and invest to people who really are just like they just feel forgotten, So it's rare that you see a lot of artists nowadays really lift up people who are in those areas in their life, versus like always bragging about their status, their money, what they got, what they're doing. Like, I mean, bro, like my
Or
mission
even
is
steering people the wrong way to do
right,
things like that we know they shouldn't be doing. Like I don't like all the
exactly.
opiate promotion. Like that's terrible. You know,
It is,
songs
bro.
talking
It
about
really
add a
is.
raw fin, not like that's not cool, bro.
Right. It's not. It really ain't. And like even though Tupac, like if you even look at Tupac, like even though he wasn't like, I mean, he did his best trying to follow God, but even if you look at him, and of course, he had some songs that was pretty violent, but he also had a lot of songs where he was helping the homeless, he was helping those who were poor, broken. I mean, because he understood like he was coming from a raw place of poverty and like brokenness and just feeling forgotten. So he actually done something about it. So that's kind of like my
Keep
mission,
your
man.
head
Just
up
really,
might be the anthem,
yeah. Oh, I love keep man. That
man.
is my joint, bro. Oh my gosh, bro.
Just
So like,
thinking about it.
right, man. Like, so just really pointing people into the direction where there is hope and purpose, and of course that's Jesus Christ. But I mean, I don't even know if you noticed this too, but I even do songs that encourage women. I mean, because if you know nowadays, like, there's a lot of music that like really
Misogyny.
downplays. Yeah, misogyny is huge in the hip hop culture, man. Not you know what, I don't even like to say hip hop culture. I just like to say in the music culture general. If you hear it in all
In
sorts of music.
culture, period. Right?
Yeah, culture period,
Movies,
man.
uh,
Yeah,
pop music, right? Everything.
yeah, everything, bro. So yeah, that's my mission, bro. That's my mission, man. So I mean, I never want to trade that out for like, I never want to trade that out for fame, success. And I mean, if God, ends up putting me on that platform where I am famous and successful, it's only to, make His name more known. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
I like what,
yeah,
not to go on the whole Kanye thing, but he got a lot of
yeah.
quotables. The one he says, if you're alive, then God's not finished. I like that. If you're alive, God's not finished. That's all you need to
That's
know.
right, bro. That's all you need to know, bro.
So let me ask you
Yes, sir.
this. You're a fly dude. You're hip. I see like you be in the ministry, you got the kids,
Yeah.
flocking like, they still you fly. So how do you come off as like not preachy and not corny, but still positive? Like how do you do that?
Oh
Or
man.
like let's speak about it. Like
you know, bro, that's I think that was something I wrestled with not too long ago. I was getting to a point to where I'm like, well, I don't want to come off like preachy, but then again, I don't want to come off like, you know, too worldly, or then again, like I got to be professional and everything, so I don't want to come off corny. You know what I'm saying? So like,
right.
at the end of the day, bro, I had to ask myself, number one, what's your mission? Like you've asked me, and number two, like, just be real, be yourself, come from an authentic place, and don't even think about that. Because I realized, man, once you start to venture out of that hole, you start understanding that you're actually becoming something that you're not. And kids read that really well. They really read that pretty well. Especially nowadays, man, when they see like, hold on, Jonah was just posting something differently, on Instagram, but then when you see them in real life, like you're just this completely different person. So I just like to put my mind in a set where, I mean, of course I'm reading my audience, first. Like I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be speaking to high schoolers, then I want to give them like that high school vibe. If it's middle school vibe, elementary vibe. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
Right.
like I'm just going to come out of nowhere and just like, oh, I'm gonna be myself and not really care about like who's in front of me.
Right.
No, I want to make sure that I'm being myself, but making sure that the message I'm relaying to them is authentic and is something that they can understand based off of where they are at in life.
Right. I would
So yeah,
say
man.
you definitely accomplished that with your music for a hip hop audience, for a urban. I don't like that word, but
Yeah.
R&B. Like you definitely convey that, and
Right.
yeah, like
And
it's tough, and I think I just want to just say, bro, like your music is dope, and I think you are one of the few artists who can do the whole, non-secular, secular. It doesn't matter. It's just dope music, and you have your view for your music, your morality in your music. Even like I asked you to post a song and it had a serpent, it had like a snake on it,
Right.
and you're like, and I was
Right.
cursing it, and you're like, I can't post that. I'm like, oh my god, I probably look like a heathen, like
Bro, I was
cursing with
like,
a
man,
serpent.
nah. I was literally like, man, I'm about to hurt this dude's feelings. Like, I was wrestling. I was like, I didn't even ask one of my friends. I was like, bro, like, this dude is so dope. But, bro, these people, if I share, my audience is going to be like, Jonah. Like, the snake is not even the matter. It's just that cuss word. Boy, you came in hard, like, too far, bro. I was like, I got kids watching me, bro.
But I respected that even more, and it made me like look at myself and like certain words I'm not saying, like, not saying it's because of that, but just like I would say like you contributed to my growth as a role model. And
man.
even though you're little, bro, but I grew up around I had different role models. Let's put it like that. I grew up in a different environment. I don't know your environment per se, because we haven't talked about it, but you mentioned that your brother, like, he was in the music, he was in the church, and it seemed like, I mean, I never even knew you had a brother, like, or I didn't know that, but it seemed like he definitely has influenced you. Like, what do you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how has that been, having like an older brother growing up in life? Period.
Right. Well, what a lot of people don't know is me and my brother never really had a good relationship. My brother always had my back when it came to, like, I grew up in the hood, so like, I always get into fights. Like, I never started the fights, but it's like one of those things where, like, if somebody was starting talking smack, I'm like, okay, like, we're about to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Already.
But, like, oh, yeah. And, like, maybe I'll fight my brother, or maybe I'll fight my god brother. Like, it was always that click where you, like, you just had a click. You all was so close, but when it came to fight, you just fought. But, like, when it came to outside, somebody trying to, like, mess with me, my brother always had my back, bro. But, like, there's a lot of times where me and my brother would just have those one-on-one moments, and like he just it's just one of those things where I did things that got on his nerves. Like I'll take his shirt, you know what I'm saying?
You mean
like,
being a little brother, right?
Yeah, just being a little brother, stealing his shirt, stealing his candy. And like for him, that just made him so mad. But like it got him so mad to the point to where like we'll always argue, and it just wasn't healthy. But when my brother started, and like he was like, I don't speak a lot about my brother's past, but I mean he lived that lifestyle just like girl chasing. So I was like doing what he was doing. Like when I saw him bringing in all these girls, I was like, dang, bro. And like I try to hop in and everything, and then all of a sudden like our lifestyle was just, it became so like dysfunctional, and our relationship just didn't become so tight. So like after a while, like when that lifestyle of party and everything has ended for him, I didn't even know it ended for him. When it ended for him, that's when I was dropping out of church. You know what I'm saying? And so when he started getting his life right, I see that he started opening up his Bible, just reading a lot. And I'm just like, yo, like, what's up with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, my brother is changing. Like, he's being all loving and nice to me, and like completely different guy. And ever since then, man, like he's like, I've always looked up to him, especially for advice, because he gives a lot of wise counsel. And like ever since then, I'm like, I still look up to him. Like there's even at times, man, he still comes to me, even to this day. He apologizes. He's like, man, I'm sorry, Jonah, if I've treated you in any way differently. I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, that's just who he was. Like, when we get in arguments, we get in arguments. If I steal his stuff and I steal his candy, he has every right to be mad at me, It's just, I know for him, he felt like, well, you was my little brother. Maybe I should have just taught you stuff instead of just yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? So.
Definitely. I mean, we all had them regrets as like an older cousin. Even my older cousin, she used to basically traumatize me when I go visit in Alabama. She like pretend like she sliced her own neck, but it was just like ketchup and stuff. And like she just like
she went ill, boy.
Yeah. And then like recently I messaged her like, and I mentioned it on a Facebook comment or something. And she was like, yo, I've always felt so bad about that. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, but I was going through this. And I was like, you good. But like, just that. But yeah. But even down to you borrowing the shirt, that's like looking up to big bro. But I will say, like, it sounded like he just went through puberty, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's about it. So he would.
Oh, yeah.
But, so, yeah, that's amazing. That's so dope that you got that big bro to, to have counsel and just,
Right.
experience life with, and someone who will know the real Jonah, regardless of how rich and how much your circumstance changed. So that's fire.
Right. And he's a pastor now too, so I
Wow.
mean, even better, bro. It's crazy.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned the
Yeah.
party lifestyle and
Yeah.
how it ain't living right, and we know that all the dark, all the like the I don't know. I don't want to say like the evils or the evils that come with like the nightlife, or just being like
Yeah.
promiscuous and all having different partners and doing drinking and drugging and all that stuff. But
Right.
is there like a balance? Do you think there's a balance, or can you still party or go out sometimes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, see, and that's the thing. I think that's where like even some of my friends like they're like, "Oh, Jonah don't do that." I'm like, "Who don't do that?" Like the reason why they give me this perception of I don't go out and have fun is because I'm this one-on-one holy Christian, right? But there's a balance. There's also a conviction with it. So it's like one of those things where if you go somewhere and you just get that conviction where like it just brings you back bad memories, I don't think that's healthy for you. That's something where you're like, man, I ain't going. If it's like a club where people are drinking, smoking, getting crazy, it's just one of those things like, why would you put yourself in an environment where you hear it every day? There's assaults, there's shootouts, there's people stalking people at home. I mean, guys trying to get, guys trying to get other, women even while they're boyfriend. I mean, why would you put yourself in a situation where it's just very harmful? But there's also like places like there's healthy bars where I've actually, I think it was like a couple years ago where I was signed to this one label at the time. We was trying to do a music video in a bar, right? And I saw this bar, and people was drinking beer, but man, it was clean. People was dancing, like there was just it was just the atmosphere was healthy and clean. You know what I'm saying? And it was none of that like you just when you party hard, you know how you feel in the atmosphere. Something about to go down. It was none of that in there. You know what I'm saying?
All right, but how about it's carnival? You with your
Yeah.
pops in Trinidad, Tobago. What's
Yeah.
up though? Like, what are you doing?
Well, because I've never been, I would probably go. And the reason why is because number one, first off, it's my father. I trust my father. If he says, "Hey, man, it's safe," it's a part of the culture that we do every. I mean, okay, I'll give it a
Right,
try.
because that was what I was thinking. Like a
Yeah,
lot of
I
it
mean,
is cultural, like
yeah.
people coming together. But we do got bad people, and like some people's
Right.
gonna take it overboard. They're gonna overdrink. There's gonna be predators, like when we go out here, even in the church, even in your work, even like in our trading community. I'm sure there's some creeps that we don't know. So
Right.
I just
Right.
I don't know, like, because I'm of that avoidance mindset too. And I love to find my communities where I feel safe and I can have a good time and, maybe let loose a little bit. But
Right.
it is scary, bro. And, I'm out
Yeah,
here
it
in
is.
California where there's a lot of, when you do your shows and all these after parties, and there's a lot of people doing drugs and stuff like that. So I just
Yeah.
kind of wanted your thought on that
Right.
stuff.
Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I have a community of believers where we say, hey, let's all get up, grab some food. They grab some, maybe some beer or whatever drink they like.
Some wine.
But some wine or anything. But bro, it's a responsibility. Like we're not going crazy. We're not like. We don't feel like our life's at danger. There's men and women in the place where we both trust each other. You don't ever see us alone one on one with a woman or a man. With a woman with a man or a man with a woman anywhere alone. So that's why like that community is very healthy. It's a different story than having that particular environment versus like going out to a place. I'm gonna say this. Somebody once asked me like, would you ever go out to a club and get crazy, right? I said this. I said, well, they was talking about particularly if you were married. I said, look, if I get married and my wife says, look, I want to just go out and have fun, it better be at a place where, number one, I don't know, anybody there. And number two, it better be at a place where literally it's just like, it doesn't have a repetitive pattern of anybody shooting, anybody stealing, like all this craziness in the air. Number one, because look, man, when you're a leader, you have to lead by example. And I think a lot of people blow that off like, oh, you're a leader, but you could do all this. I'm like, but you have to understand, you're leading by example. Like, you want to make sure, because as a kid, I know what it's like to be dragged in the club. I've seen things in the club, and I've seen and heard things like at these wild parties happen. It's not healthy. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like one of those things, bro. Like,
Right.
it's a rare case that you see that happen. But it's like, I think it's also mutual. It's also like, hey, where's your boundary in this? Okay, what are you willing to do and what are you willing not to do? Because like I said, once again, I believe there is a healthy place for, bars and all that stuff. But I think, there's also a dangerous place above that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got to just, be accountable for the, our scenarios, whatever for our own lives. And I
Right.
think a lot of people can't control that, right? Like they go in
Right.
a certain place, they go crazy, or they have one drink, they can't take it. So you are playing with
Especially
fire. So that
right.
is one thing though.
Right, especially nowadays, bro. Nowadays, it's like you can barely go out anywhere now. Like, there's always somebody about to do something crazy, So,
Yeah. But it seems like with your community, there's a lot of everyone holding each other accountable, and y'all. I mean, some might think that's like weird, like, oh, why can't a woman and man be alone together? But if you just kind of understand human nature, that it makes a lot of it, and just like
right.
the history of men and just how we need to protect our women as men.
Thank you, LWin.
And it's kind of messed up that we got to protect them from ourselves, but it
Right.
is what it is. So,
But you get it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. Like that means a lot to me, especially coming from a guy, because a lot of guys do not understand that.
yeah,
And
man,
some women
it's
don't
so
either. Yeah.
it's so tough, and like I'm sure some of our peers or other men are gonna think we sound like a bunch of like what simps or whatever the term they use, but like Tupac said, like, since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, was raised from a woman, like, we know what it is. I wonder why we rape our women, why we hate take from our women, do we hate our
Yep.
women? Like,
I love
come
that line,
on,
bro.
bro.
Tell that
So,
we kill for our women, that we heal from our women. Be real to our women. Oh yeah.
facts.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm with your vibe. And we talked a lot about, the church, and it's not like we were intentionally talking about it. It's just, part of your life. And
Yeah.
it's not like something that we want to avoid. Like on this show, if something is a part of someone, we're gonna speak on it, because everyone that's coming on this show that's sharing their story, I'm already filtering to make sure it's positive and it's gonna help us level up. So learn from Brother Jonah, learn about walking in that Christ consciousness. Even if you need to just interpret it from your own view, you should take something from it. And for me, bro, I grew up in, I was baptized. I had communion. I went to a Catholic school for kindergarten, first grade, second, then eighth grade. So I've been to a bunch of different schools, because I basically went to like 10 different schools growing up. But so someone like me, I understand the faith, and even though I don't identify as like Christian per se, and I'm open to other views, other religions, etc. I definitely understand the power of Christ consciousness and in letting Jesus into my heart, because I had some really down times and where I couldn't stand alone. And whether I wave the flag and I say I'm a Christian or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I have to be out there. Letting Jesus into my heart was like a real process, like and that has saved me to this day. And like, I'm stronger and I'm not alone. And
Right.
yeah, sorry, I went on another tangent today.
Nah, you good, bro. You feeling it.
So other than the religion and the music, there's so much more to Jonah. What do people need to know about you that maybe they don't know, or that they have a misconception about you, bro? Like,
Oh man, especially coming from like my unbelieving friends, maybe some Christian friends. I mean, one thing is, I think like they see me as this very hardcore conservative Christian. But the funny fact is, they're always asking to come to church with me. And I'm like, okay, so you see me as this crazy conservative, but they're always asking to come to church with me. And they're not even living life with me. Like, the only time I see them is like when we play, like I'm an athlete, is when we actually do, like I play soccer and basketball. So like, I mean, we go out sometimes and like, go out to eat and just like catch up and stuff. But like, I think the misconception of like Jonah is a Christian, he doesn't do these things, really hurts me. Like, I'm like, who says that I don't do these things? Like, bro, like I love, like, for example, like I'm not saying I'm a hardcore drinker, but when I drink wine, right?
Same here, red wine.
Yeah, I love some wine, some red wine. I like Angry Orchard. I like certain other drinks as well. And when I say, yeah, man, I was doing that, like, some people look at me, what? Jonah drinks? I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, like, what's wrong with that, And I think it's because people has a perception of you, even as a Christian rapper, like that whole term Christian rap. Like, I don't care if you call me a Christian rapper, because you know who I am. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus, and I live that out.
But you're not a Christian rapper. You're a musician, artist, and you happen to be Christian. Yeah.
Right.
You're not even just a rapper, bro.
Right. And I mean, even if that's how they perceive me, the end goal is like, I don't care, as long as you know that you're getting the truth from my life and it lines up to that. That's what matters most. So, and then the second part is like when people throw their issues on you and then they start saying stuff like, you don't know what it's like. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, I don't know what it's like? Have you heard my story? Do you know what I've been through? Like, the reason why you don't know what I've been through is because I'm trying not to project my problems on you, because I know that wouldn't be fair for you. So, like, it's kind of like
I almost did it in this conversation when I was like, well, you had an older brother. I ain't have an older you know what I'm saying? But I was like, let me check myself. I actually don't know what you grew up from. But yeah, we just got to derive those bits of truth and
man.
Keep
There's some. I'm gonna be honest with you, LWin. Like, there's very vaguely people that really know my whole story, and when they hear it, they're like, man, Jonah, I did not know you've been through that. I'm like, yeah, and that's the reason why I'm perceived as this nice, awesome, gentle, loving, kind guy. But you did not know that, like, when I was younger, I was bullied, I was picked on. So, like, I would be very angry at, like, my brother when he would treat me in certain. So I'll lash out at him, like, what's wrong with you? I was like, well, because, like, coming home from being picked on, and then I have to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like certain things
they don't know what it took for you to become who you are today.
Exactly. So it's like, or people like, oh man, Jonah lets people run all over and he's just so lenient and graceful. I'm like, no. Reason why I'm lenient and graceful is because, number one, I know what the Bible says, and I am supposed to be lenient and graceful. But they don't know that half the time I am actually correcting people. There's only certain ways that there's particular times I do show a lot of grace, because I know sometimes a person will not take criticism at that particular time.
Right.
So it's like, sometimes you have to let things build up, and then you're like, okay, now it's time to showcase this, And I think the last thing is like even like being a financial investor. Like, how odd is it, like, you hear like a Christian saying, hey man, invest into crypto, invest into Forex, put your money here. You want to be financially free. Oh, what? Christians do that? They can make money? They can be rich? I'm like, bro, like, who is telling you these things? And I think, man, it's all this Hollywood stuff that you guys are seeing. And yeah, man, like, I got to the point to where I don't care anymore, because I know the impact that God has made on my life, and I see the impact it's making on so many other people's lives that I have not even mentioned. I mean, you go look at my social media right now, especially on my Facebook.
What's your social media? So they can go right now.
Oh yeah, my social media is Jonah Greene, Jonah, and then Greene with the E on the end. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, definitely Instagram, and things of that nature. I'm basically everywhere on every platform. So if you go look at my social media, you see, not saying that I'm giving a status approval of like people replying to my comments, but you see time and time again, I even get DMs like saying, bro, like, you have no idea how much you encourage me. And then when I'm able to actually sit down with people, like, I don't just like talk to them, I actually sit down with these people in a group setting, and they actually tell me their story, and I'm actually able to build a particular relationship. So I'm not also just impacting, I'm actually doing, you know what I'm saying? So the perception of like, oh, Jonah, you're this Christian that doesn't do X, Y, and Z, these people have no idea who I am. Even the people who are really close to me, who still had a perception of me, they don't know who I am.
Right. But we don't do it for the credit anyway, so it's just like, that's what you're at the point where it's like, yeah, you can believe me or you could be with it if you want.
Right.
Because like, I'm sure you did too. You had a point in your life where you're like, yo, everybody, you got to know about this. Like, this is going to save you. Like, this is how you trade. Like, you're going to get like, and then you get to a point where it's just like, let me save my breath because it's half the people ain't going to go through with it. It's just going to burn you out. You're going to invest more time than the person does themselves. So now it's just like, you know, you let them come to you, but you put that beacon out there where you attract them, you know, through maybe our music or our social, or maybe you have a event for the youth or whatever it may be. Right. But yeah, I see you be getting it in on your just watching like your life. Like, obviously I talk to you, we Zoom occasionally and chop it up every week, but like just following your social, like your life looks lit, bro. Like, if I was out in North Carolina, I would come to church with you. I'm definitely going to eat with you, like, to smash at all those restaurants. And then I'm going to get my old self out on the basketball court and, you know, hack a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see me be posting them foods, man. I had to chill out on that, bro. I was like, man, a little bit too much.
Nah, man. Nothing wrong with foodie life, you know, especially when you get that workout in. And, you know, as long as it's in the budget, like, foodie life is great.
That's right, bro.
Yep. So, but so yeah, let's kind of talk about investing a bit, and then we can kind of, you know, get up out of here. You know how that listening time is for people; they might not be able to make it through the whole one, or I gotta make it 2 parts. But so yeah, I wanted to ask you about your trading style and all that. But first, while we're touching on faith as well. We know in Forex, especially in trading, that there's losers, right? So every time we hit big, we're waiting on a stop hunt. So what does that stop hunt mean? It means a bunch of people lost money. A bunch of people probably blew their accounts. They're probably sad and negative. Woo, woo, woo. Does that impact you at all as ethically or morally as a trader and a Christian? Do you think about that at all? Like, I'm hurting people, or even like if you had a clothing line and, you know, you getting the $5 shirt is coming from, you know, sweatshop labor. Like, I just want to know, what do you think of that?
So are you saying, like, you know, when things like, for example, like, give me an example.
So basically every time we are gaining in, you know, in this capitalist world, you know, it's a lot of times on someone else's pain. Whether it's a Forex trade, we're winning. We know there are losers on the other side.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that, or did I get you messed up?
Oh yeah. Because honestly, it's so funny. Me and my best friend was talking about that. We was like, bro, if we're winning, somebody's losing. And
somebody is losing.
Somebody's consistently losing. And to be honest, do I feel bad? I feel bad in the sense like, man, they're on the same wavelength than us. At the other side, I don't feel bad because it's the part of the game. If you become part of this game, just know you're going to have to learn to lose in this game.
You're not a civilian no more.
Yes, you're not, bro. So I'm sorry. I mean, if I sit here and I watch everybody, I mean, if you really think about it, let's just say you go to a concert, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can't have VIP section. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. You got to pay for it. If it's VIP section sold out, I mean, sorry, you can't get VIP. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't have VIP. So that's how I see it, man. So.
Yeah. It's just one of those, you know, ethical questions I wanted to throw out there because I don't know. I think about that stuff. I think about like there's basically no profit without pain. you know.
Right. But it does hurt in a way to where like they're constantly blowing accounts. So I told myself like, well, Jonah, if you do become like crazy financial big in this Forex game, when I got to stop saying if.
I got you. We got each other back, bro. That's
I
what we're
like
here
that.
for.
That's accountability right there. When I do, man, it's like one of those things where you can now help, which I am helping people, of course, but you can help more, you know?
Yep, that's what we do it for. That's I don't look at it like, oh, I have to pay a karmic debt, like, oh, I have to do like philanthropy and teach other traders for my karma. I just look at it like, yeah, it is part of the game. It's part of life. I guess I have a different viewpoint on life. Like I'm not a pessimist or like in the end we all die person, but I do think we're not entitled to be alive on this planet. Like if the human race was wiped out, so be it, because we're privileged to be here. So everything is a blessing, you know, even the
Every
ability
day,
to
too.
trade.
Yep.
So my view is just a little different. I don't get caught up in the little things. I just get in the bag because I got to eat and I got to lay my head somewhere, you know?
Yeah, man. Gotta look up for yourself, man.
Yep.
Ain't
Yep.
nobody else gonna do it for you. Unless you
Yep.
got a rich
But the
family that's
money
willing to
is
do it.
not what we're about. Most people on
Right.
this podcast, everyone I've interviewed, like we're all getting money. We're all getting money, right? But none of us, the money don't make none of us. We all have like loftier goals and they all involve helping people. And it's awesome. That's what I'm noticing about this show.
Facts. That's good, bro. Yeah, because I listen to a lot of it, and I'm like, my favorite one so far is the Brandon one. I love Brandon, bro. That dude, he, so much wisdom, bro.
Yeah, y'all got an island connection. I know he be at the carnival every year with his fiance.
Yeah, I know he be getting all that jerk chicken and oxtails, boy. Because I know, as a matter of fact, my daddy's actually coming back down to visit us. I think in the next 2 weeks, so I'm gonna get a lot of that.
Have you ever been to Trinidad?
I never have, and he's been wanting to take me.
You gotta go.
So
I've
bad.
never been, but you gotta go.
Yeah, bro, he's wanting to take me so bad, but there's some situations that he's kind of like struggling with right now. So it really put a pause on it. So,
But it'll happen in his right time.
oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to go because Brandon's getting married out there, and he definitely invited the mentors. So maybe But
Yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to. Okay, we have a few more questions. Wanted to ask you about your trading per se. So
Right.
if you can go ahead and describe your trading strategy and or system
Right.
as best you can. Note nothing on the screen. This is a podcast, but just kind of explain it as simple as you can to the audience.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it took me a while to get this, bro. I mean, the number one thing is simplicity. Keep it stupid simple. This is just for me, my advice. Not a financial advisor, of course, but I've seen how this has worked for me. What I like to do a lot, man. I used to leave the weekly and daily alone. I went back to it for specific reasons. Number one, simply I'm just like, okay, what is the weekly time frame looking like? Is it bullish or is it bearish? Okay, so for example, if it's bullish, I'm like, okay, weekly's bullish. Go down to the daily. Daily for the past week or two, what does that look like? Okay, still bullish, right? And I go down to the 4 hour. And what I like to do is like I rarely use trend lines anymore, but when I do, I say, okay, this bad boy is ranging in this market. This market is ranging in this area of the trend line, correct? So what I like to do is now when I wipe off my trend lines, now since I know I'm in a bullish trend, I look for bullish order blocks. Does that make sense? So yeah, and it's something that, bro, I went 81% doing this, bro. Like I went 8 for 10 one time. Only lost 2 trades. So I see people selling at sellers order blocks, which is okay if you're scalping, but man, for some reason when you're staying with that overall bias, I was just killing it, right? So I look for a bullish order block, and once that bullish order block is hit, number one, I think to myself, if it starts rejecting, I can aggressively get in, or 2, I just wait for a bullish candlestick to form around my order block, and then once that bad boy forms, I just instantly get in without even thinking, put my stop loss below the order block, and just trade it to the next order block.
Okay. Where'd you learn your order blocks from? People going to want to know.
So I know you know who Luke is at the time.
Oh, okay.
I've
You learned from Luke?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's what's up.
I've learned. Yeah, man. He's really broke. I think he stopped swing trading. He started doing more order blocks and just taking scalps now. I've learned from Luke. But I've also mixed it up a little bit with. Do you know a guy named Todd Trillionaire?
Oh yeah, God amigo. Yeah, God amigo.
Enemigo, traded enemigo. Yeah, that's my boy. So like, I actually got to have one-on-ones with him, YouTube lives with him, and like he started getting in my mind. He said, "Bro, stop listening to everybody else. Do you?" So I mixed the order blocks with his strategy, and I'm like, "Bro, this is fire." And ever since then, bro, all I do is just basically break and retest, but the break and retest I figured out are usually off of order blocks, not just break and retest. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, man, honestly, I keep it simple. I stay with the trend overall in the bigger time frame. Now, what particular order blocks I use? I usually use the 30-minute order blocks or the 15-minute. I use the 30-minute order blocks. For some reason, they've been working a lot more cleaner for me. I don't use the 1 hour. I don't use the 4 hour. Just my opinion, it takes too long. And I'm just one of those guys like, look, bro, I'm trying to scalp a trade. So I'm trying to, not scalp a trade, but I'm trying to get the best stop loss when it comes to my trade. So, you know, if you're doing on 1 hour, 4 hour, you might get 10, 15 pip stop loss. Like, to me, that's too big because my lots are big, you know? So
I got ways.
Yeah, man,
I got ways. Just we got to zoom on that because I use the same way you do it, but I have found real simple ways to capitalize off those higher time frame order blocks.
Yeah.
But one thing that I kind of stay away because a lot of times when those order blocks get approached, that a lot of times that means you don't have momentum in the direction you want.
Right,
So they might manipulate around there or stop hunt it or, but sometimes, you know, so it just depends. But I'll show you a couple things. I want to see a couple things from you too. So we got to get in the lab.
Oh yeah. Well, I tend to like make sure my confirmations line up, and you know you're gonna take a loss at times. Mm-hmm. But bro, when I do take a loss, my losses be super small. So that's why I'm like, bro, I don't even care. I know the next one gonna be lit.
Yeah, those confirmations are so important, y'all. Like once and you might have your confirmations be off and that not working out, and you might need to change them over time. But just the fact that you have them and you're following those guidelines is going to give you that framework. I'm telling you. So that's what I like to hear, bro.
Yes, sir.
So are you trading other stuff other than Forex? I know you said investing. Are you doing like stocks or you mentioned cryptos? What else are you into?
Yeah. So if it's not just the Australian US dollar, which is the only pair I trade Shiba. And I have been looking at Doge, but I just invested more money into Shiba. That's basically all I need. I know I invested some when it was like real low and it didn't jump, and I held it and it jumped, and I'm like, heck yeah. Just came back down for a retracement. I got more into Shiba right now. So Shiba Inu is the only coin right now that I'm actually investing into. I'm looking at other coins. Of course, everybody listening to this podcast, I'm about to get the sauce. The more zeros you see, the better it is to figure out what particular coin this is before it jumps, because you have possibilities of making money. I mean, that's what Shiba and Doge did, you know. So yeah.
So you're more so on the meme coin.
Oh yeah.
1000x mode.
Yeah, love it, bro. Love these coins.
Are you looking at other like coins that aren't like as popular, like, you know, stuff you got to get through Uniswap and PancakeSwap, those type of coins at all? Or
not really, man. I mean, honestly, I did have one of my boys hit me with the Hotbid. I don't know if you know what Hotbid is. Yeah, so Hotbid is one of those other, I guess you could say, brokers like Coinbase and everything, where you actually figure out a lot more meme coins. There's a lot more meme coins on Hotbid that you can actually trade into that's not on other places like Robinhood and Coinbase and all that stuff. It's just something about these meme coins that a lot of people, I guess that's why they call it Joker coins, are laughing at. And then all of a sudden, when it jumps, people are like, bro, this thing done jumped high. I'm like, and we're just saying, like, I know, we've been telling you that. So,
So are you just
And
looking to kind of quick flip it or like get out pretty soon or?
yeah, so like what I did is I told myself if it gets to a particular level where I'm really satisfied, I don't need, bro, to be honest, I don't need to like wait to hit $1 million. If this bad boy is at 50K, 500K, I'll take a percentage of that out and then leave leave the rest in there, invest it into other things, and literally just keep my
What other
portfolio
things
growing.
would you
You know,
invest in? Say Sheba goes to 500K, you pull out four. What you doing with that for?
honestly, bro, I'm going to another meme coin that I know is about to hit. I'm like round two. But when it comes to stocks, because I don't really trade stocks. I mean, I had this list that I actually had written down like Nike. Definitely we begun, AMC, Amazon, things that that will always continue to boom. That's probably
Right.
like other stuff I look at. But I'm like, but it's just like Forex. Why would I go into something else if I know these other coins are working for me? Because the thing about stocks is stocks take so long sometimes, bro.
Right.
And yeah, so
Have you looked into more stable projects like well obviously like Bitcoin, Ethereum, but those have kind
yeah,
of taken off where you can't
yeah.
get in 100x easy, but
Which
there's
I'm
a
in
lot
some
of
Ethereum.
awesome. Me
Yep.
too, bro.
Yeah.
That was kind of my first hit Ethereum. I got in around $100 and then $300, and
Right.
now I'm just going from there. But there's other ones like I'm really into Solana now. Are you looking at any other projects that
I'm
you
not,
think have
bro.
a good utility? Okay.
I'm not, and the reason why, and I maybe I should. I mean, I have my friend who just sends me all these things that I need to. That he's like, these are the coins you need to invest to. The reason why is, man, I realize like sometimes your mind gets so like you want to venture so much in other areas, which is great, that you lose focus on what's already making you that money. So that's why I told myself it was just like Forex. Like I'm over here trading an Australian dollar, Australian US dollar, and GPP USD, Euro USD, all these other pairs. Dude, they're just like getting on my nerves. And then all of a sudden I go look at AU. I'm like, oh, my setup play out. Yeah, because if you would have stuck to that one, you would have been great. Not saying that you can refer that to crypto as far as like diversity in trading, but it just goes to show you like, hey, I don't want to have my portfolio like I don't want to have all these portfolios and then half of them I'm losing and then the other half I'm winning. You see what I'm saying? So I want to stick to what I know that is winning for me, and that's probably like only a couple of meme coins. But if I decide to venture out, it's only because I have information on it that something is about to boom. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why, and it has to be consistent, man. It can't be this up and down wave. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I think you have a very aggressive investment approach. If I could coach you up on that a bit or even have a Zoom with you, I would say
yeah,
as you grow, start to divert funds into more. They may be more stable. For instance, like if you get into some index funds or start like your Roth IRA and get those
yeah.
mutual funds
Oh
going,
yeah.
they're
Oh for
only going to
sure.
do
Yeah.
maybe 10, 20%. But
Yeah.
in the last 30 years, they keep doing that, while,
Yeah.
with the meme coins, the
Yeah.
floor can get pulled out. So, because I kind of struggle with that as well, because I got stocks, I got multiple crypto wallets, Forex, and I get overwhelmed at times. So just throwing that out there. And the other thing, bro, I want to just put out there is
Yeah.
with the skill set that we have in trading, market manipulation, as psychological traders, we can dominate all these markets in a crazy way.
Right.
About a year
Especially
and a
the crypto,
half,
bro.
not even just crypto, every freaking market. I'm getting amped now
Right.
because
Oh,
about
I
a year
know.
and a
I know.
half ago, I went through the New York Stock Exchange. Bro, I
Uh-huh.
looked at every single stock on the exchange as a exercise. Yeah, and what I ended up doing was making a watch list that was about 40 stocks, and basically all of them were undervalued, dumped. AMC was like bro. I think GameStop was on my list at like $4. AMC was on it. Like
Oh
all these,
gosh.
Yes, yes. But I killed it on the ones I did get in. I just didn't
Right.
get those. But just seeing the
Right.
traps and the dump, and then not just how it's dumped a lot of times, but how we can identify the shift out of the trap that, liquidity's pulling up, and you're like, okay, this stock was at $100, it's at $20 right now after this dump. Even if it just goes to 40, I doubled up. But yeah, just not to drag it out, but I want to just throw that out to you, bro. Like, the skills that we got really translate, and it's so amazing. And yeah. That's
Right.
it.
Well, honestly, I would say like for sure, like the things like stocks and bonds and like Roth IRA. Oh heck yeah, bro! I'm dumping. I mean, because you got to think about your future,
Yep.
for like your kids if you end up having kids, or even just for your family if you end up
Yeah,
dying. And, like,
because
where
a
that
lot
money
of
going
people
to?
make $1 million off of their Roth, like just putting
Right.
in regular deposits. They look up their 45, like, oh shit, I got 900K in here.
Right. So that's why I've just been so like very selfish with what I put my money into, because I'm just one of those guys where I'm like, if I'm going to put my money to it, the probability, not like, oh, the risk you're taking is like, no, I want a high probability. If this bad boy is at least over 50%, okay, I'm looking into it. But if it's just like one of those things, oh yeah, they're just talking about it. Nah. Staying away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope, bro. But yeah, I do think your investment strategy or style will change over the time, because I'm watching it change before my eyes. But yeah, I'm liking
That's
what I'm
right.
seeing. I'm proud of you, and
Appreciate it, bro.
I definitely, when you hit big on the meme coins, please for me pull out some and put it in a something stable, like boring.
Oh yeah.
Is watching paint dry. And some stocks pay dividends, so it would be nice to be Warren Buffett, where you could make 15 million a year off one dividend portfolio.
Right.
But we're on our level.
Right. And last thing, like, I just want to say, like, in Forex, man, even when I do have like a second strategy, but when it does, like, let's just say if my order blocks don't play out, what I tend to do is I usually just go with the market gives me. If I see big momentum shift, there's lows being, like, for example, like if it's like in a buying pressure, right? But all of a sudden, like AU is like shifting towards sales and it starts breaking major lows. Well, I'm like, okay, well, obviously here it's starting a new cycle. It's at the end of the week. More than likely, this is selling. I'll just probably look for a break-in retest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
At the same time, just take what the market gives you. You don't have to stay in long. If you're comfortable getting in, forget what everybody say. Do what your eyes see. Because here's the thing, and you know this, LWin. You might say, oh man, it's gonna buy, and then all of a sudden you're like, yo, I'm gonna agree with LWin, right? But in your heart you're like, man, it's a sell, and then all of a sudden you buy, you get stopped out, and it just dumps like 100 pips, and you're like, I should have listened to myself.
Right.
So, yeah,
And it's nice though, like sometimes, like last week I read in Brandon's group, someone was like, GU looks like it's gonna melt. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't see an entry or nothing, but that mofo is gonna melt. Like, I just know it. And that I didn't trade it, but that mofo melted. You know what I'm saying? So like, it could be the other way, but you gotta like trust that inner. Or like, I've had pro traders tell me like, yo, that's gonna reverse. Like, don't trade that. I'm like, whatever. And I held it. And the next day I'm like, boom, 100 pips. You're like, oh, good job. Because no one knows, we know how the structure works, but, we don't know what's going to happen next. Okay,
That's
so
right,
it is 11:11 my time. I think that's a good time to kind of wrap it up here. Awesome. And this was a fire convo. I do have one more question that I like to ask our guests before they leave. And that question, Jonah, is what does winning at life mean to you?
Winning at life means to me is keep God first in everything that you do, because it's not about how much money you make, it's about how faithful you are to Him. That's what winning at life means.
Boom. And we're going to leave it there.
Simple.
Simple. What'd you say? Keep it stupid simple, right?
Keep it stupid simple. If you want to add that to it as well.
God first. I love it, brother.
Yes, sir. And I will also say, man, just invest into what you know is good for your life as well. So.
Yep. We're not just talking money investments. We're talking everything.
Everything.
Yes, sir. All right. So, yep, we out of here.
Appreciate it, Elwin.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for everyone
Yes,
who made
sir.
it to the end. And we'll see you next week. Peace out.
All right, you too. Peace.